Hi, this is Bonnie from stepintobrilliance.com and the founder of the Tiara Revolution. And I'm really grateful today to be able to talk to you about falling in love. And I want to thank Anurada for inviting me to do that with her challenge. How exciting is this? So, my take on love. Well, I have had a lot of thinking to do when it comes to what love really is. And I've been thinking about this for a very long time. And I've come to the realization that love is not what Disney tells us. It is not falling in love at first sight as you wake up from 100-year sleep or being rescued from a dragon or any of those things. Love, love at its core, real love, now I'm talking about lasting love, love that has true meaning, that holds you up, builds you up. It's all about acceptance. And I want to talk to you about falling in love with yourself. And I'll tell you why. I know, right? I know a lot of people they're always worried about falling in love, getting married, and falling in love with someone else or something else, or falling in love with their job or any of those things. But I think the reality is, in order for you to do that effectively and meaningfully, you first have to do the work on yourself. You first have to fall in love with yourself. And what that means to me is learning to accept, fully accept, unconditionally accept who you are right now in this minute. I don't know if you've noticed, but our society is not set up for you to work on your strengths and be who you are. It's set up for us to say, what's wrong with me and how can I fix it? I mean, look at the personal growth realm. A lot of the gurus out there are all about telling you what's wrong with you instead of celebrating what's right with you and helping you expand and grow and be introspective and look at yourself with awe and wonder, because really you are a magical, incredible being. But that seems to get all lost. If you are, if you spend any time with like a 1 or 2 year old, they are full of themselves. They know who they are. They know what they want. They know what they like. They know what they don't like, and they are not afraid to tell you about it. But we lose that. We have our parents saying, don't do, don't do, don't do, no, 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 that's bad. Then we go to school and we do some work, we work hard on it, we get it back with all these notes about how we can do better, meaning it wasn't right, it wasn't perfect, it wasn't good. And I think it's improving, but I think we still have a long way to go, because the premise that our society builds on is that we're inherently broken and we need to be fixed. And I don't use air quotes lightly, but we don't need to be fixed. We're not broken. This is a story. This is a premise that we have been told so much and we bought into as if it is truth. And the fact of the matter is, I don't believe that it is. I believe, and I'm going to ask you to just, change the story, because when you change the story, you change the meaning that you're giving things in life and you change your perspective. And so this premise, this idea, this story that we are inherently broken and something needs to change, something needs to be fixed before we can. You with me? I'm sure you've said it. I know, I have said it myself, right? When I lose 10 pounds, when I get back to being really fit and I can run a quarter mile or a half marathon, or, when my business reaches this benchmark, or, when I figure it out, then I'll be lovable. Then someone will love me unconditionally when I slay my own dragons. But the fact is, that's not how it works. Sorry. Don't shoot the messenger. The fact is, there's always more dragons. There's always more demons. There's always more to do. And until we can learn to accept ourselves, there's that word acceptance, fully and completely where we are, we will never consider ourselves lovable, because we don't love ourselves. How can we possibly expect another human being to treat us with love and respect and awe when we don't do it for ourselves? So, what I'm asking you to do is to look at your story. What is your story about yourself right now? Right? What is it you think you need to fix or do or become or get rid of before you can be successful, before you can be okay to move on, before you can. You don't need to. And I know when I talk to my clients about shifting this story, and I'll say to them, look, you are a whole being. I want you to change the story to one where you believe that you are whole and you are imperfectly perfect, and that is exactly where you need to be right now in this moment, and accept it with love. You are never going to find the relationship that you're looking for, and you are never going to find the success that you are looking for because you've got things holding you down, weights around your ankles. So I know my clients have said to me in the past, that's nice, but I do have imperfections. I do have problems. I'm not as evolved as I would like to be. And I point out to them this little story that I'd like to share with you. So back, oh gosh, maybe 8 or 9 years ago, I owned a house, and it was in a fairly new subdivision. And, along comes the city one day and decides they're going to plant a tree. And they planted a sapling. I did not go out into my front yard and say, oh, geez, they planted a broken tree. It's too young. It's too little. Right? I mean, I'm sure maybe somebody might, but I don't think most of us would go out and say, oh, the city gave me a broken tree. It's so little. Of course not. Instead, you went out and went, oh, it's so cute. It's so little and it's going to grow. And you knew that someday, a few years down the road, it will have grown into something more. That doesn't mean it's broken now. It just means it has potential to be even more. And that's what you have, my friends. You are not broken, but yes, you have potential to be so much more when you grow. So let's stop with this. Let's stop apologizing for where we are. Are you with me? Okay. And I'm going to share with you, Anurada has suggested this because I love this tool. I love this tool, and I recommend it to just about every client that I have. And it's called an achievement journal. It's exactly what it sounds like. You got a journal, a notebook, some paper stuffed in a binder, a back of an envelope if that's what you've got handy. And for 15 minutes at least, if you want to, challenge yourself a little and go for like 20 to 30, hey, go for it. Let me know how it goes. But at least 15 minutes, because there's a magic point you're going to have happen. Well, let me explain what you're going to do first. So you're going to sit down, you're going to set a timer so you can set it and forget it. It's not going to be weighing on you. You're going to have paper, you're going to have a pen or pencil, and you're going to start writing about all the achievements you have ever had, all those things that make you and make you awesome and brilliant and lovable. Okay? Now, what I was talking about before, you're going to reach a point when you feel like you've run out of things to say. Trust me, please, when I tell you, you have not run out of things to say. You have had a lifetime of brilliance. You just need to understand it, see it, and acknowledge it. And that's what this achievement journal is all about, acknowledging. So keep writing. I've had clients laughingly tell me they wrote in their journal when they hit that kind of magic mark, and it's usually around 7, 8 minutes, 10 minutes or so, you kind of hit this wall of, I don't have anything else to write. Keep writing. Make it palatable, because that's when your inner self starts talking. That's when your real self, right? Some call it source, some call it divine downloads, but that's about the time when it starts happening, when you hit that wall and you start remembering things. I've had clients who tell me, I wrote down they'll say, Bonnie, I got stuck, and so I started writing crazy stuff like I learned to walk, or I read, or I said a report out loud in my class when I was in grade 3 about bears. Write those things. Absolutely. They seem silly, they seem small, but those achievements have made you who you are today, right? And so celebrate them, write them down. And you're going to start suddenly remembering all these things that you have had brilliance in, that you have strength in, that have made you who you are today. And it will start rolling again. And then if you're in a roll and the timer goes, shut it off, keep writing. Take a deep breath. It seems a little daunting. It's not painful. Well, maybe a little, no, I'm just kidding. It's not painful. And what happens is you start being able to shift the story to one from where you're broken to one to where you're brilliant and you have all these strengths and these achievements. And suddenly that story starts not being so true. This inherent brokenness that we think we have when we really don't. And so I ask usually my clients to every day for about 2 weeks to write at least 5 things every day, to add to that list. Now, some of my clients find every day a little bit much. Some of them love it. They end up writing like 10 to 20. Don't worry. It's just for 2 weeks. And see how it goes and see where you are. At that point, some of my clients like to, knock it down to maybe every other day. Some of them love it. Most of them love it and end up keeping this going. And they add it to their general daily journaling. So they'll have like 5 achievements and then they do their regular journaling every day. But this tool is actually incredibly powerful because your subconscious believes what you tell it. Now, your subconscious is really, really powerful in helping you create your life because it helps you create meaning. But it's very susceptible to what we tell it. So this achievement journal starts telling it a different story. And eventually, and it usually takes a few weeks, your subconscious starts believing you. And to me, I like to say it starts believing the truth of the fact that you are incredible, magical, and just, full of just light and love and brilliance. And you start internalizing that. Okay, so that is a great tool to get you started on this idea of acceptance without condition. We're going to take those old ideas of brokenness, are going to replace it with ideas of wholeness and perfectly imperfect, with the idea that yes, we might be a small sapling right now and we can see and envision the more that we want to be. But that doesn't mean we're not perfect right where we are and getting the lessons that we need in order to become that tree, that brilliant, shade-giving, life-giving, oxygen-giving tree. And so set your roots down somewhere solid. Set it down in self-acceptance and love. And it takes work. It takes some time to get it going, but it is such a worthwhile journey. Because when you learn to be unapologetic about who you are and how you're coming into this world, that's when you're going to attract the kinds of relationships and the kind of love, deep, unending, unshakable, brilliant love without conditions that I know we're all looking for. And it also is where you'll be able to give that kind of love. Okay? So I hope you use that tool. Do let me know how it's working for you. And you can find me again. It's Bonnie at stepintobrilliance.com. And I hope that this has served you. And once again, thank you to Anuradha for having this awesome challenge to help us fall in love again with ourselves, with the world in general. And I wish you all the love in the world. Bye.